So DVLA, I've never read in the terms and conditions when I registered my car or applied for a license and stuff like that. You don't get the full terms and conditions. And also legislation. See, if legislation had any authority, it needs your signature to agree to it, explicit consent. So the only way they can get explicit consent to legislation is to give you a contract. You can imagine how big that'll be with all the legislation in it. But you signing it and whoever you're agreeing with. Well, UK government it's not a natural, can't hold a pen. So how can you make an agreement? And that's why they created the legal fiction, isn't it? Because you're representing the legal fiction and you believe that that's you and it's not you. The name isn't you, it doesn't belong to you. It even says on the documents, Crown copyright cannot be used to identify you. So when the police ask for the name and the date of birth, you give them that name and date of birth, assuming it's you. So then you're using Crown property, and then you can be charged for using that property.
This is why it's so clever, and this is what I learned with David James, who I desperately want to get back on the show, but he's been going through a bit of trouble in his personal.
Right.
But he was saying, like, and that is bang on. It's the case that they're so devious and clever that they actually get you to commit the crime. They get you to commit the fraud by using your driving license, your passport, your birth certificate, because they're all fraudulent documents.
You've only got to look at it, what is a charge? When you get charged for doing something, there's no victim and you're being charged. Well, what is the definition of a charge? It's a payment for something in return, isn't it? What are you getting in return for that charge? Say you're speeding and you get charged for speeding on the road. What are you getting in return? Well, do you know what you're getting in return for that charge, don't you?
Well, they would say you're getting, you're paying to not be prosecuted.
No, well, yeah, but that's what I think, right? If you're getting charged, you're getting something in return. What are you getting in return? Well, what I think it is, the name and the date of birth is Crown copyright protected. It's owned by somebody else, the Crown Corporation. So you're using their property. So you can be charged for using somebody else's property. It's like renting something, isn't it? You get charged. I think that's what it is. But that's my assumption of it.
Well, that makes sense.
You're using
I can see the logic there.
Yeah, they've got a legal and lawful right to charge you for using that property. And I think the property is the Crown copyright name and date of birth. And you haven't asked to use it. You assume it's yours.
Yeah.
It's not, it's theirs. So you're using it. You're renting that and you're being charged. When you break one of their policies or their rules, they can charge you. But they're not charging you for breaking the rule, basically. They're charging you for using that name.
Yeah, that's it.
You assume when somebody says, who are you? And you say, I'm that name. You're claiming that name. You're using that name. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. So that's how they charge you. And that's what I think. And by going into these courts, but they're not courts anymore. We haven't got no courts of justice in this country anymore. They're all administering that trust. Because that trust, what happens when your parents register a child, they're not registering a child, they're registering a name. Because you register, as you know, if you register something, you're giving the ownership and control away, aren't you?
Yep.
So because you give that name to them, they control that name, they own it basically. So they all capitalise it, turn it into a trust, and they float it on the stock market, which generates loads of money. So that trust, which you're the beneficiary of, which they don't tell you, which is supposed to pay for everything.
That's what your national insurance number is. Your national insurance number is your Swiss bank account.
And something to do with the birth certificate number on that as well. That's something to do with the treasury account, isn't it?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I don't know the ins and outs, but I know that they're linked.
Well, there's people I've read and watched videos. There's a woman I was watching a video, can't remember her name. She reckons that it's worth at least £1 billion your trust account.
I would say easily, yeah. This is where the terminology "worth your weight in gold" came from.
Yeah. Well, when you go to court, these administrators, and you're asked, do you plead guilty or not guilty? Do you know what they're actually saying?
No.
They're not actually saying, have you done the crime or have you not done the crime?